When we wake up in the morning, we don't actually know what the day is going to look like. But when we come together, whether it's in the legislature or out in constituencies or dealing with circumstances that are sometimes challenging, we know that when we walk into that room, that we're one family and that we can rely on each other.
It's not really about politics, it's about Albertans. She loves Alberta.
We're going to win the next election because we're excited about the future of this province. You know, one thing that I believe is that Albertans are smart. People understand that there are some issues out there, particularly that we face as Albertans, that are complicated. You know, we don't live in isolation. We are the economic engine of the country, but we have a future that's so much brighter than that in terms of Canada and in terms of the world.
Alison gets the big picture, which is important in a province like ours where we export 80% of what we produce.
Every one of us as Albertans is building Alberta every day because we're passionate about it. But we made a promise to Albertans. We promised them that we would invest in families and communities. We would make sure that we were taking care of taxpayers' dollars and that we would open new markets.
Well, Premier Redford has demonstrated over and over that she understands rural Alberta, she cares, and she is very genuine and passionate about rural Alberta.
Alison's initiative on results-based budgeting, wherein she has outside people looking at over 800 programs, is most impressive. She kept her promise and she's doing what she said she would do, and she's trying to increase the efficiency of government.
The biggest thing that I can commend Alison for was immediately coming to our rescue, so to speak, when it came to Highway 63 and the necessity of having that twinned and getting a completion date for that project.
The media talks about Premier Redford, but in the party, she's Alison. She knows us, she knows the people all over the place.
I met Alison Redford about a month ago. I like her because she's a great person who has very realistic goals for the future, and I think she's going to attract a lot of new young voters like me to the party.
She's a good listener, she's a representative of this party, and she's what the PC party is about.
She knows the value of volunteers and that our party has been successful because of the grassroots support and input it has had over the years from all party members, including youth.
I love Alison's support of constituency associations through regular conversations with presidents and her support of constituency events.
As we move forward and think about what comes next for us, it's about understanding that every single person that we have the opportunity to talk to and to listen to is someone that cares as much about the province as we do, and we can ask them to join us for success in the next election. Every single constituency is about personal contact, listening to people, talking to our friends and neighbors, and building trust. That's where we're hearing and talking to each other about our hopes and our dreams, and that's where we can talk about why progressive conservatives care about this province. I think that everyone who joins a political party, who volunteers, who gets behind campaigns, who talks about public policy, door knocks, telephones, manages databases, has made a commitment to making our community and our society and our province better. I've had the privilege of being a member of this party since I was young.
Both of our mothers, like so many Albertans, were very involved in politics and in their community.
And I remember so clearly Jeff's mom, Anne, and my mom, Helen, sort of dropping us off, giving us piles of cards, and getting us to start stamping.
That definitely comes through in Alison today as our Premier.
And so generations later, we're still here, we're still doing it. I think the reason that so many of our volunteers come together is to support the candidates in their riding. And those candidates become our Conservative caucus. And they're the people that I'm privileged to be able to work with every single day.
I watch Question Period on a regular basis, and I have so much respect for Alison Redford. She is a clever woman. She understands the issues. You can't beat her on an issue.
As a new immigrant, I like what Canada is all about and what Alberta is all about. And we're very comfortable and I'm very happy with her leadership.
Premier Redford is leading our province forward with a bold, positive vision for building Alberta, the right leader in challenging times.
I want to thank Premier Redford for her great leadership following the floods in southern Alberta this spring. She was there on the ground immediately. She was there to hug people, to show her compassion, and she was there to show leadership.
You know, when I think about what our leader is doing on our behalf across the country and abroad, I'm very proud of the results that she's achieving. And as an Albertan, I'm very proud of the respect that she's garnering from other leaders. And I think this only is going to serve Alberta well in an increasingly global marketplace.
She's a nation builder. She's been a wonderful addition to the Premier's table. We thoroughly enjoy working with her every day. She's a facilitator. She's a bridge builder.
But it's always great to talk to you because you know your issues, you take it seriously, and I think you're probably one of the most impressive leaders in the country. So thank you very much for dropping by.
Thank you very much. At the end of the day, the reason the people voted for us in the last election and what we want people to do in the future is to know that they can trust what we told them, that we're optimistic about the future, that we make sensible commitments, that we have faith in what comes next for this province, and that if we make the right decisions now for the long term, that we will continue to see success.
Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the Progressive Conservative Association of Alberta, the Honourable Alison Redford.
Incredible introduction. You know, I tried to count and I'm going to guess that this is probably my 25th AGM. And I have to tell you that every single time that I come to a convention, it feels like a homecoming. Because we get to catch up and see people that we don't get to see so often. To see how our families are changing and growing and find out what's going on in everyone's lives. And there's so many people that I've seen just today in the last four or 5 hours. Krista Balsam from Fort McMurray, who I met on the last campaign. Andre Harp is here from Valhalla. We had a talk about that in Falera about 2 weeks ago. Leona Hansen's here from Beaver Lodge. Danny Smale, of course, you saw in the video from Lac La Biche. And of course, Richard, I know Richard, there you are, tall guy in the corner over there, brought an incredible delegation from Lloyd. And there are hundreds of delegates who've come here from Edmonton under the leadership of Naresh Bhardwaj, our caucus chair. There are people here that I haven't seen for some time, like Peter Alzinga, Myrna Fife, and Mary O'Neill from St. Albert. It's incredible. People from Lethbridge, like Bill Chapman. I heard some pretty hair-raising stories about some young ladies driving up from Pincher Creek today that had a bit of trouble with their tires, and I'm glad they made it here safely. Jordan is here from Medicine Hat, and of course John Barlow is here from High River. Where's John? And of course, so many people from Calgary who've driven north to Red Deer under our caucus chair, Linda Johnson, and I do have to have a bit of a shout out for my constituency delegates from Calgary Elbow. And I'll tell you, to all delegates from every point in between, people like Ada Rollins, Walter Twitty, Jim Horseman, and George Durapart are here tonight, and that's wonderful because that speaks to generations of volunteers in our party. So everyone, welcome to one of the largest AGMs in our history. Welcome to Red Deer. And I sure want to say a few words about our host tonight, about Cal and Marianne, who worked so hard on behalf of our party to make sure that this great city is well represented and continues to be a cornerstone for growth in central Alberta. And of course, I'd like to thank all of my wonderful friends, Bright Lights, Saul, Brenda, Kathy, Ray. It's wonderful to see Diana, and of course, Eric. Thank you so much for being up here today. I really appreciate it. And I am so excited that on stage with me tonight are the 2012 Progressive Conservative candidate team, the men and women that stood up for our party values in 2012, a great team who were committed to our success, who worked very hard, and that you supported to allow us to win a majority government in the last election. But most importantly, I would like to thank every one of you that's in this room tonight, because you have done outstanding work and you are unwavering supporters of the Progressive Conservative Party. You are the very reason that we won in 2012, and you are the very reason that we will win again in 2016. Are the heart and the soul of the most successful political movement in Canadian history, and we're going to keep it that way. And finally, as we go through these wonderful events this weekend, I truly want to thank the volunteers who've been running this convention committee, who've put on such an incredible event already. I walked out this afternoon and I was looking at those tables and tables of registration packages, and I thought, my goodness, how are we going to get through them all so well and efficiently? Took a lot of look at the trouble table. There weren't too many troubles, which means this is a committee that knows what it's doing, and we are truly grateful to you for putting on this wonderful event and hosting us here in Red Deer. Our party truly is a family. We stick together through thick and thin, and we've done so through multiple generations with a shared vision for our province that's based on our compassion for Albertans and a profound passion for Alberta. As Albertans and as Progressive Conservatives, our core belief is that every action that we take together, we take to make a stronger and more prosperous Alberta. And through multiple generations, our vision has kept Alberta on the right path. It's focused on protecting what we fought hard to build, while having the courage to drive straight forward to an even better future. It's why I joined this party, why I was proud to be active in PCYA, where our outgoing president, Evan Leggett, has put together an outstanding team of youth, volunteers, and activists. Youth who are fully integrated into our party as leaders, and that's exciting. It's why I volunteered on campaigns way back in 1981 with Dave Hancock and Edmonton Whitemud, why I worked on David Carter's campaigns in Calgary Egmont, why I ran to represent Calgary Elbow in 2008, and then ran to be leader of this party. Because I have had the privilege of growing within this family, and for that I am truly, truly grateful. You know, and it is pretty amazing how our families have grown together. Glenn and Sarah are here tonight, and I just have to thank them from the bottom of my heart for their love, their support, and their patience. And you know, over the course of the last couple of weeks and today, I've talked with Chris Warren, his daughter Natalie is here. I know Jason and Stacy Hatcher brought their girls. Bill Smith brought his daughter Allie so that she could babysit Jason and Stacy's girls. I mean, this is who we are, and this is what's so exciting. It really is about coming together and learning from each other, becoming friends at an early age, and then in some ways growing up together. And that's why I'm so proud of who we are as a party and as a family. This summer, Albertans came together in a way that we would never have expected we would have had to. We saw firsthand homes ruined, dreams swept away, and tragically, 4 lives lost. The devastation of the flood, the worst natural disaster that we have ever seen in Canada, ensured that we rallied to the occasion. And early on, I made it a commitment that we will be there every step of the way to help families to rebuild and to protect communities from the threat of future floods as we continue to deliver on that province. But I will never forget some of the people that I met in that really intense 3-week period. I remember meeting a group of seniors from downtown Calgary who were being accommodated at Olds College for weeks, were being supported by volunteers from the community in Olds who stood brave not knowing what they were going home to. I remember being in Nanton and seeing generations of women from the Cayley Hutterite colony who were working in the kitchen at the Nanton Evac Centre, day in and day out, to provide food, clothing, and support for families that didn't know when they could get back home or where they were going next. Or the armies of volunteers, many of you who are in this room tonight, who took a step out and just went and helped people, not just friends and neighbors, but strangers. We came together as we always do as Albertans, and nothing made me more proud to be the Premier of Alberta, but also to be an Albertan, and to see how Albertans from every corner of our province rallied to support those in need, just as we've always done, and just as we will always do again if we ever have to do it. And you know, along with an awful lot of people from our PC team and from our caucus, Sarah and I were able to spend a lot of time in some amazing communities this summer. We were in Paddle Prairie and Drumheller, Bragg Creek, Claresholm, Athabasca, St. Paul, Sundre, Lac La Biche, Hinton, Medicine Hat, because our Building Alberta tour gave us the opportunity to sit down with civic leaders, with volunteers, small business owners, tourism operators, to talk about what mattered to people on the ground in 2013. And as Alberta Progressive Conservatives, we proudly do that work. You know, as Albertans, we talk about the fact that we are Canada's economic engine. the place that others look to for inspiration because of our natural advantages, our people, and our resources. Our vision builds on the strength of our people. Albertans dream big, we are always confident about tomorrow, and we know that tomorrow will always be even better than today. And Alberta's values are progressive conservative values. We create opportunity, we reward hard work, and we share our success with the world. Our Alberta is proud of its Western roots. We are a welcoming, culturally rich, and diverse, inclusive society, where our kids are given the opportunity to thrive. Where our kids can thrive and where our communities are safe. Where we have quality, accessible public health care and social services when they're needed. Where our industries are encouraged to succeed and innovate, and where our environment is there for future generations to enjoy. And where being a good neighbor still matters. And that is what guides us as progressive conservatives, and it's what guides me. And it's what Albertans have trusted us to deliver on. This didn't happen by chance. As other people tonight have said, it is the result of 42 years of sound progressive conservative leadership in Alberta. The Alberta that we enjoy today comes from the support of generations of progressive conservative governments with vision, common sense, and the strength of their convictions. The success of the Lougheed, Getty, Klein, and Stelmach governments and our current administration started right here with us in our party. Because at party conventions like this one, we listen to each other. We listen to our friends and our neighbors about what matters the most to us today and to others that we see across this province on a daily basis. Policy is developed from your shared experiences as parents, as community leaders, and as volunteers, because that is the foundation of why we continue to build our party. And we live in a time of incredible change. Our ability to consistently meet new challenges with smart ideas is one of the enduring legacies of our party. And that doesn't mean that we abandon our progressive conservative principles and values. It means that we embrace change with confidence and with purpose. It means that we put forward the right plan at the right time that ensures that Albertans continue to enjoy the quality of life that we have created together. Budget 2013 was tougher than most budgets in recent years because, of course, we've talked about this, the tightening differential on the price of bitumen, the bitumen bubble. And as a result of Doug Horner's incredible work with our caucus, we were able to hold government spending to last year's numbers, to a zero increase in spending this year. And that is an incredibly difficult task in Canada's fastest growing province. Within those constraints, Fred Horn and Jeff Johnson were able to work with doctors and teachers to secure long-term labor deals that hold wages flat for 3 years, but also guarantee stability in healthcare and education, because we value those as Albertans and we value people that work in our education system and in our healthcare system. And by working together, we had success. Your PCMLAs led the budgetary restraint by example last year with a salary freeze, and on top of that, we announced a 10% reduction in management in the public service, a freeze to management salaries, and we suspended management bonuses. And as you heard Brenda and Frank talk about, challenge panels that have been led by everyday Albertans, many who are in this room tonight, have allowed us to take a look at every dollar the government spends to make sure that we're getting the best possible outcomes and the right outcomes for Albertans in 2013. That's results-based budgeting, and it's working. And in response to all of those Albertans who told us to secure our future, we also put into law a plan to build our savings in the Heritage Fund to $24 billion by the next election. The first time that the fund has been legislated to grow in 25 years. And grow it must, because this year Alberta has grown at a rate faster than ever since 1981. We are now a province today of more than 4 million people. And it's projected that in the next 10 years, we will have at least another 1 million people coming to this great province. Proof that Alberta remains the best place to live and to work. Now, population growth is a tremendous opportunity and a challenge, and we know that as Albertans. But it's a challenge that our Building Alberta plan is designed to meet head-on. The plan is about investing today in the future so that we can continue to have the quality of life and the services that will support us for tomorrow. Because you've told us, you have told us, Albertans have told us, that Albertans want smaller class sizes, particularly for our youngest kids. And we've listened. We're building 50 new schools and modernizing 70 schools, from Grand Prairie to Lethbridge to Black Falls to Cochrane to Grimshaw. And you told us that you wanted safer communities for our kids. And I'm so proud of the work that Sandra Jansen is doing to support parents and schools in fighting bullying. And you said that public health care closer to home is essential for your families. So we're opening family care clinics. We've opened them in Calgary and Edmonton and Slave Lake, with 24 slated to open over the next year across Alberta, including one that I had the opportunity to visit in St. Paul this summer. Because you told us what we needed to do, and we're listening. That roads are important. And that's why we're building new roads, and we're expanding existing roads so that we spend less time in traffic and more time doing what we really care about, being with our families in our communities and arriving home safely. And we've already seen positive results from twinning Highway 63, and just this morning, Rick McIver and many of our Calgary Caucus colleagues were able to officially open, with snowplow actually, the Southeast Ring Road in Calgary. We see the completion of the Anthony Henday proceeding on schedule. And you will also know that we were able to complete a deal with Sutina to complete the Calgary Ring Road, a project that's been in the works for 50 years. Because building Alberta is about listening to the priorities of Albertans and acting on them. Now in Alberta, we do know that energy is our lifeblood. It's our future prosperity. And part of building Alberta is opening new markets. And we're working to open those markets in Asia, in BC, Eastern Canada, and the US to reduce the exposure of the bitumen bubble. And next week, we'll welcome back our friend David Alward from New Brunswick, who will be able to address our legislature on the progress that he's making in Ontario and Quebec on the West-East pipeline, and that matters a lot to us. Many of us have been involved in leading trade missions to China over the past 2 years and to open that market to small and to medium-sized Alberta businesses. In Washington and in Europe, Cal Dallas and Diana McQueen successfully sell Alberta's story on responsible oil sands development and environmental protection, dispelling myths and misinformation and telling them why we're proud to be Albertans. And a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of excited when, after months of hard-fought negotiations, we reached a milestone agreement with Premier Christy Clark to move oil and gas to the West Coast. Because this is an agreement that protects Alberta's royalties while ensuring that our energy is transported safely to Asian markets through the province of British Columbia. And I'll tell you, if we think about agriculture, so critical to our economy, we know that Verlin Olson is a tremendous champion for ag producers across this province. I don't know where Verlin is. Look at that. Right in the middle of the Alberta flag. Right in front of the wheat fields. Verlin's been very busy with CETA in Europe and with MCOOL in Chicago and in Washington. And whether we're in Tabor or Linden or Manning, much like our energy products, we are reminded of the need to get our ag and our forestry products to market at fairer prices so that we can compete and we can continue to invest in families and communities in Alberta. And I am so proud of how our team is standing up for Alberta's best interests on the world stage. Because when we succeed, Alberta succeeds and Canada succeeds. Every one of us, as members of our party, can be proud of what Alberta has achieved under progressive Conservative leadership. Our schools rank the best in the English-speaking world, with our kids near the top in reading, math, and science. Our universities and colleges are graduating highly skilled professionals, 90% of who choose to stay in Alberta. Yeah. Our energy sector is a world leader in developing and moving our resources to market responsibly. Our farms right across this province have seen a tremendous bumper crop this year with great optimism for next year. Alberta's economy will outpace the rest of Canada this year and next year. We are first in job creation. We are first in population growth. We are first in entrepreneurship, and we are first in economic growth. Our economy thrives, and it thrives because we have the lowest taxes in Canada. And as your Premier, I will keep it that way. 18 months ago, we were elected to build Alberta's infrastructure. We were elected to get fairer prices for resources that Albertans own, and we were elected to live within our means. We won that election because every one of you made the sacrifices that needed to be made to help to elect progressive Conservative candidates in most of the ridings across this province. In every single constituency, we had candidates to be proud of. We took a positive message grounded in our shared vision for an even better quality of life for Albertans, and constituency by constituency, door to door, and together, we earned the trust of Albertans once again. And I'll tell you, I am looking forward to 2016. commitment. I give you my commitment that our team of Progressive Conservative candidates will build on our party's legacy of success. Together, we will build on an incredible record of commitments that we've kept, and we will use them to serve as a foundation for a winning team in 87 constituencies in the next election. Our province has been well served by successive Progressive Conservative governments since the days of Peter Lougheed, because our party has proven time and time again that we can lead in changing times. We can, we will, and we do. It's why Albertans continue to trust us with the incredible responsibility of leadership and will into the future. We are a great province because we build Alberta by working together. This is what we have always done, whether it's reaching out to our neighbors in times of disaster or remaining focused on building an even more prosperous province. With the support and the partnership of each of you in this room, we have the foundation to continue to build an even stronger Alberta for the future. For the 4 million Albertans that are here today, for the million more who will call Alberta home in the next 10 years. So let's be proud, let's be ambitious, and my friends, let's keep building together. Thank you.